What's up, guys? It's Jay, MorninAfterKill, and I'm back here on what could possibly be a Borderlands video. I don't know exactly which Borderlands gameplay I'm going to use. It could be Borderlands 1, Borderlands 2, maybe the pre-sequel, not very likely, but it's possible, or it could be Tales from the Borderlands gameplay. I don't know. I've uninstalled every single version of Borderlands that I have on my computer right now, and I don't know if I feel like installing any of them, especially after I make this video for you guys. So, yesterday, Gearbox announced that coming in March, Borderlands the pre-sequel and Borderlands 2 will be coming to Xbox One and PS4 in the Handsome Jack collection, and both versions will come with every single bit of DLC, as well as offering a collector's edition that comes with a Claptrap remote control toy for $400. I'm gonna let that sink in. There is a Claptrap remote control toy out there that costs $400. What the fuck? Now, I know a lot of you guys out there are happy and you're rejoicing, and I've seen you guys come to my channel, you're excited, and you're like, Mac, does this mean the return of Borderlands content to your channel? Woo! Yeah, we're gonna give you guys a big old Ric Flair on up in there. But honestly, I know we go back quite a while, guys, and I always promise to you that if there's one thing I will never do on my channel is be dishonest with you guys. And I feel like there's enough YouTubers and media outlets out there, IGN, willing to fluff shit up just because it fits in the realm of comfortable. And honestly, that's just not something that I'm willing to do, especially with how embarrassed I am. I'm literally embarrassed that I hyped up the pre-sequel for 6 months, only for the game to be half-assed, broken, and we've seen 2 DLC drops in the first 3 months of release. Yet when you ask Randy Pitchford, the CEO of Gearbox, about respawnable mini-bosses, he says basically if you want respawnable bosses in the game, to move on and play something else. They're busy. What? I'm embarrassed about that. Not because I work for Gearbox or anything, because I don't have any ties or affiliations with Gearbox, but I put my name on this product for 6 months prior to launch, and the company that I'm putting my faith in is so easy to write off paying customers by telling them to go play something else. That is unacceptable to me. That's not how you treat people who are directly responsible to your fantastic position in life. It's just not. So where exactly do I stand on this new collection? Well, where exactly do I begin? I guess we're gonna go ahead and look at the collection here first. Borderlands 2 and Borderlands the pre-sequel coming to Xbox One and PS4 in full 60 frames per second. That is fucking awesome, because I remember saying things a while back that the console guys deserve a well-ported version of Borderlands. And I also remember Gearbox saying that they're confident that the console switchover wasn't going to be a factor at launch, and most people are still on last-generation consoles. But no, MorninAfterKill doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about, right? Wrong. Now, here's the problem that I have with this. I own Borderlands the pre-sequel on PC. It's essentially the same version as the one that's coming out on console, except I had to pay $30 for a season pass full of garbage DLC, a season pass that hasn't even been fulfilled 100% fully yet, and Gearbox is giving it away for free. What the fuck, Gearbox? You know what this tells me? That this collection is a knee-jerk reaction to the pre-sequel falling flat on its fucking face, and Gearbox isn't willing to take responsibility and say, we've released a bad Borderlands game. We're going to fix it for you guys. No. Instead, they're saying, oh, it looks like we were wrong. Everyone's on next-generation consoles. That's why the pre-sequel didn't do well. Which is funny, because if that's the case, then Gearbox was wrong initially about not releasing on newer fucking console platforms anyway. The fact that they're trying to boost sales of the pre-sequel by tacking on Borderlands 2 is a decent tactic. It's gonna work, it's gonna sell, no matter what, because Borderlands 2 is a great game that has a ton of DLC. It's a fantastic value. Just for Borderlands 2 and all the DLC for $60, that is a fantastic value. The fact that they're tacking on the pre-sequel on there is a little bit shady because they're trying to boost sales of the pre-sequel, but once again, if you read just a little bit in between the lines, this collection just leads towards more Borderlands disappointment. Why? Well, you remember about a month back, Borderlands 1, the remastered edition was kind of leaked a little bit, and people are talking about that Gearbox is actually working on, actively remaking Borderlands 1 and not just doing like a full-on, let's just port this over to the next generation consoles, which means, in my mind, if Borderlands 1 isn't in this mix, that they are definitely going to remaster it, and they're going to remaster it exactly the way I said. They're going to take Borderlands 1's enemies, areas, and textures, and they're going to paste it over top of Borderlands 2 inventory system, gun models, and loot pools to make the entire Borderlands trilogy match each other. So not only are they willing to sell us 2 games that they've already sold us before, but it's going to eventually lead to the ruin of the original experience that started this all. And that makes me sad, because I love Borderlands, not just as a game. I love Borderlands as a franchise, as a series, and I will continue to keep on playing, Tales from the Borderlands, because Telltale is able to give me a Borderlands experience without any disappointments. And so far, that's what Borderlands has been for like the last 6 months, is just nothing but disappointing announcements. And once you realize exactly what Gearbox is doing to this series, it's disappointing. It's sad, and it sucks any bit of enjoyment that I previously had with the franchise and just replaces it with a big steaming pile of dog shit in my heart. And I don't like having dog shit inside of my chest cavity. The sad part about this is that we fought so hard to get Gearbox to release Borderlands the pre-sequel pre-release, and they ignored us. They told us that we were wrong. Last generation consoles were still dominant. How's that working out for you now, Gearbox? And now that we've played the pre-sequel, and we know that it's not really worth buying once you've already played through the story, because there's nothing to do after you play through the story. There's no farming. There's no cool ultra DLCs that you go run through and beat up fucking bosses. I mean, you got the Invincible Sentinel, which is just a reskin of a boss you already fought throughout the campaign. And you have, what the fuck is his name? Iwajira, who, I mean, he's fun, but what? Like fucking 45-second fight, and that's about it. There's no other bosses I could go on and farm for some legendaries. You're not gonna respawn them mini bosses, are you? Yeah. So once you play through the story, the game is one and done. And who knows? Maybe in the Borderlands 2 collection, they won't have respawnable bosses either. Maybe Gearbox is like, this matches our artistic vision for the game. We want legendaries to be super rare, and everybody in Borderlands 2 was running around with unkempt heralds and infinities and Norfleets and shit. So, what happens if Gearbox says, you know what, we want this game to match the game that we just released, so we're not going to make Flint. Flint isn't going to respawn anymore. Savage Lee isn't going to respawn anymore. All these mini-bosses that you loved in Borderlands 2, going ahead and making your rounds, everybody had their own little, I guess, method, path, farming route that they would get on. They'd be like, oh, I'm going to go beat up this guy. I'm going to go beat up this guy. For me, it was like, oh, I'm going to go beat up Terramorphous. And after that, I'm like, oh, I'm going to go fight Badassosaurus Rex. On the way back, I'm going to hit Pete. Everybody has their own little routes inside of Borderlands. What happens if they take that away from you in Borderlands 2? You don't think that's possible, do you? Yeah, we didn't think it was possible that the pre-sequel mini-bosses won't respawn either, right? Yeah. now you see what page that I'm on. So, good job, Gearbox. You're selling games that already exist with DLC that currently doesn't exist yet for customers who already paid for that DLC separately only a couple months ago. Now, I could see if it was like a year, maybe a year and a half after release. We're talking about 3, 4, 5 months later that you're giving away this DLC that's not even fully fulfilled yet, that you charged people fucking $30 for a few months ago. For customers that you didn't even give a fuck about until the money well starts to dry up. And to make matters worse, you took a fine game like Borderlands 2 and you're dragging it through the mud by using it to sell a game that doesn't even fucking belong on the same shelf as Borderlands 2, let alone in the same box. Shame on you, Gearbox. You get no more of my money.